What is up, man? I don't even know where that came from, but there we go. But anyway, here we go, guys. We are here to talk about. We've been reviewing Daredevil Born Again. It's got one more episode. I think it ends this week right here. Then we have Andor Into the Future, but right now we're going to be talking about The Last of Us Season 2, Episode 1. Yeah, man. I was excited for this one because I thought uh, it was done very well. But I ain't gonna lie to you, Daredevil Born Again was really good too because we was like binging a lot of that stuff going in. I finished season 2. Haven't really gotten to get into season 3 yet of Daredevil of the Netflix series. But I was also kind of excited about Daredevil Born Again. That's why I wanted to go back and watch those episodes. And that one kind of let me down, no lie. Not hating the show, but not loving it either. Brandi done gave up on it. Shit. You know what I'm saying? And like they said, nah, me and Matt, we had to stick it through. But here we go. We got season 2, episode 1 of The Last of Us. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Let's go around really quick on the panel here. We'll start with you, Matt. What did you think about this? Just overall, the first episode, and then we'll talk about some of the things we liked or maybe disliked. Matt, take it away, big man.
It was a cool establishing episode, seeing where we're at in the show. You know what I mean? Like the 5 years was a big jump, kind of, but it's good to see they made it that far. I was a little bummed to see how strained the relationship is between Joel and Ellie, but I'm sure that'll end up getting tighter along the way. But yeah, that part kind of bummed me out. But it was a good episode, and like I told you earlier, I thought the cinematography in it was like really, really good. Everything
Yeah.
looked really nice.
No doubt. And this is like super entertaining to me, like as far as like, being able to know a decent amount of the stuff that may or may not happen coming up, and then like watching it with people that necessarily don't know those things, and all that makes it interesting. It's kind of like whenever me and Brandy was watching the Game of Thrones, and I knew what was coming, right? And I just wanted to be there with Brandy when that thing happened, right? You know, being able to relive the wedding with like another person that didn't even know anything about it and all that good stuff.
Or
Uh,
Battle of Bastards.
the Battle of the Bastards, all this kind of stuff, or her hating a character like that, like that guy, and I'm knowing, oh, he's going to get his justice certs, and then being able to see that and everything else and all that. But Brandy, what did you think about the first episode of The Last of Us?
I thought it was a good starting jump. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of questions that need to be answered, but I'm liking it. Again, it's the first episode. You get to ease into stuff. I think the tension has to do, obviously, with the lying and stuff. Because we saw that at the end of the other season, and I think that may have a play into why their relationship is a little strained. And they keep saying, "Oh, it's because she's a teenager," and stuff. That too, but there's obviously underlying more stuff in there.
No, yeah, exactly. And I'll do this because I do know some of the stuff. I'm not going to spoil anything like huge or anything, but if y'all have questions to try to clear up, hey, why is this person maybe doing this? If I have the information, I can give to you guys like as we go. So like,
But am I right though? Like, is there that?
no,
Is
I
that
mean, well, you heard my comment, right? Like, I'm not saying that's why you gathered your information, but you
No,
heard
I
my
haven't.
comment during that like therapy session, like whenever he's like sitting there being quiet and she's trying to goad him into saying like whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
like you heard me say you lied, like that's what it is, right? Like because
I was so into it, I didn't hear the stuff that you said.
but
But I
like
knew
the
from
first
seeing
part
the
of the
beginning.
episode.
Yeah.
No, you're right. The first part of the episode I thought was super smart. The first thing they play is like the very end of the last episode of season 1, whenever they first see the town and stuff and they're going up to it. And she makes him promise that what he said about the fireflies was all true.
Mm-hmm.
And like he says, yeah, I swear that's a lie. And that kind of thing. And I always thought that she kind of knew that he may have lied right there, but like, uh, I don't know what they're going to do. I think the next episode is going to be a flashback. I do not think it's going to be going straight into what happens technically next in this story. To be perfectly honest with you,
Yeah,
uh,
because of things that we need answers to.
Yeah.
oh yeah, but I like the episode overall. There was a couple of like only nitpick things, like that's something great about watching a show or something like that, and all you have is you admit this like not super horrible things, but you have like a couple, you like maybe a nitpick here or there, like the little fight at the very beginning where Ellie's fighting that big ass dude. It's like,
Oh,
bro, I've seen grown men like put that hold on other grown men that are bigger than them, and they pick them up and just slam them to the ground. That is
mhm.
not going to work. And I was talking to Matt a little bit before Brandi got on here before we started recording. It was like, if you're going to do that, because the actress they chose to like portray Ellie is like super small, like she's like really short and stuff and petite, is to have like maybe a smaller person that she's like fighting, maybe like a little bigger, right? Like a bigger than her or something like that, kind of a little bit of more opposing. But I was just like, bro, if he would have punched her for real, she died. She's
Do you
gonna
think?
die.
Wait. As someone who's short, I can handle you.
Yeah, but she weighs like 110 pounds. It looks like it on the camera, and
It
the
looks
camera
like
adds weight.
it looks like it, but I look smaller than what I really am. But like, I could take you down.
I'm just saying, you got some like a little bit of like
I wrap my
you're,
legs around your neck. I'm
yeah,
taking you
but
down, boy.
you're a little
Woo,
you
wait.
well look.
Matthew.
Boy, like we can't be talking about that stuff on the review, girl. What are
No,
you talking about?
no,
No,
no.
but my point being is like you have like you got broader shoulders. You're built a little stockier than the actual actress that they have on the thing that's picked, right? Like, look at that, you got a little muscle. Ellie don't have that.
A
Like
little.
the actress that they have playing the part don't have them guns. You know what I'm saying? Like
You need tickets for this show.
that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm talking about. It's like Ellie, the actress they picked, don't have that. So when she does something like she did, and then tries to say like, "Don't pull back the punches," bro. If that dude got a straight up hard as he could punch on her, it's over. I ain't saying she
Listen,
dies, but she's definitely knocked out. She's got a broke nose at least.
Yeah.
listen. When we're this little, we have to have that. You know,
No, she can
big
be
bite.
fiery and she can like win in certain ways, but I'm just saying, like the way that happened, I'm just saying it was a nitpick. It didn't bother me. I'm not saying like, oh, the show's crap or anything like that because like that moment. I'm just saying as a critique, I was kind of like, bro, all he's got to do is stand up. Like,
Listen,
Yeah.
for
us
instance,
shorties gotta show no fear. I have no fear.
but every shorty ain't the same because, like you said, I one armed. I with one arm. If you had my arm in an arm bar like that with one arm, like I wouldn't be able to possibly like one arm you up,
Mm-hmm,
right? You're more stout.
mm-hmm.
But that guy that they had picked, that's my problem. Is not her. It's the guy they picked for her to be doing that to. Literally would have easily just lifted her up one armed and slammed her to the ground as hard as he could. She's done. Like that's my point.
He looks so deceiving. Maybe he wasn't that strong either. So
Bruh, look at you see that big brony looking mother. Ah, shit. We had to. I'm about to pull his ass back up on the thing. That guy looked like the Jolly Green Giant out there whooping somebody's ass. What are you
see,
Well,
talking about?
that's where you're wrong. It doesn't matter how big you are. The bigger you are, the harder you hit the ground, and that's what us shorties always
Oh,
go by.
that's exactly why they have weight limits in boxing and stuff because people would be just killed if they had to fight people that were like 10 times their
yeah.
size. Let's don't get crazy here. I
That's
know
like
Well,
you
the Vietnamese.
listen. I know you're a little firecracker, but that doesn't mean everybody's a little firecracker. And
Ellie's
let me tell
like
you something.
me. She's a little piston.
Listen,
We are a little shits. You think I was scared at 19 years old? No.
bro,
Take anybody on.
I put them eyes on you, girl, and you just be like, all right, sorry, Justin.
but but another thing, kind
Yeah,
of her saying don't hold the punches is like
Yeah.
they're just sparring. Like you're supposed to hold
yeah.
your punches. You're not supposed to go
Yeah,
full.
exactly. Like it's
You
not
know
like
what I
you're
mean?
trying to kill someone or like beat
Yeah.
the crap out of them. Like I said, it's a nitpick. Other than that, like I don't even know of any other thing. Uh, I, I was watching at one point, and then Ellie, and I got to get the names down because I know like the
Mhm.
main characters' names, but like her new, we could say even almost possibly love interest or whatever. I
Oh,
got it,
I had
but
it in my head. Oh my god, I forgot. I just forgot her name.
with
But yeah,
her, like they're about to go in that building. It's like, oh, you want to let the guys do it? I'm like, I'm a guy, and yeah, I'd probably want the guys to do it.
Oh, whoa, we got a special guest.
Oh yeah, we do have a guest coming out of nowhere. Ferris Mufana, the last of the channel servers. He does not serve channels. He sticks to one.
No,
CBS.
I hop on a lot of channels. I watch
Oh,
NBC.
so
I
you're
watch.
lying to us when you say the last of the channel servers.
Well, no,
It's a lie.
no, well, no. That's how I know you misinterpreted the name. Nowadays you don't channel surf. You stream hop. So I think
Oh,
I used to channel surf back in the day. I'm the last of them, man.
oh, I got you. I
Yeah,
got you.
yeah. This
Well, we
the generation after this, they don't do that no more. Where just turn on a random channel like Godfather's on.
but Ferris, we just that we you came in pretty almost. We were getting everybody's kind of overall thoughts, but like, so what was your overall thoughts of like episode 1 here?
I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was a very good episode 1. I can't say I because I didn't play number 2. I didn't play number 2, so
you don't know
I
what's going on.
I have no idea what's going on. I don't really care about correct adaptations because I never played 2.
It was a
And
correct adaptation. I can tell you that.
then that's perfect with me. I loved it. It was pretty good. You could see the juxtaposition. I love Catherine O'Hara's performance in that little scene.
Who
That's
doesn't
pretty.
love Catherine O'Hara? Come
I
on.
love me some
She
Catherine O'Hara.
she wasn't like game accurate, but like I get we got to put stuff in there like the more than what the game has. But for instance, like if you're talking about game accuracy, the whole New Year's party, the whole Ellie interaction. Do you happen to remember the girl's name? I can't remember her name.
Dina.
Dina.
That's what it is.
Her and Dina's interaction is actually like game accurate to the T. What happens when Joel pushes the guy? The same kind of thing happens with that situation. You also have the scene where she's like walking up and he's on the porch with the guitar, and that kind of thing even happens in the game. So, like, yes, I would say game accurate.
I like how.
Are you
my
going to
bad.
play the game while you're?
I can't. I don't have the setup. If I was at my house, we would have
yeah,
done
that's
that. Yeah, but
And
So you
watch,
did that
and watch
last
Ferris
season.
die,
You did that last season, right?
and
You
watch
played
Ferris
the game.
die multiple times.
yeah, watch
it
me
was
die
fun.
multiple times.
That was
Yeah.
fun.
I thought that brought a lot of juice to the review. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna say that.
No, yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. If y'all want to go back and rewatch our season 1, because Ferris literally during most of them, I think, like was playing the game in the background as we actually talked about the actual episodes as they went. But
Exactly.
the only other thing I'd say if Ferris should get caught up on is like one critique I had, and like I said, it's a critique. It's not like me. I didn't hate it. I didn't dislike it or whatever. Was at the very beginning when Ellie's fighting that big dude, and she puts him in like tries to put him in the arm bar.
Oh,
You are a guy that like watches UFC, right? Did this come through your head like mine? I'm like, okay, because they have an actress that's really super petite, like she's a really small girl.
hmm
That guy with the size he was, I'm like, he literally only has to stand up, lift her up, and slam her to the ground. I've seen grown men do other grown men like that, and
yeah, no, it's possible. Yeah, it's possible. But if you know how to do jujitsu and you know how to do weight distribution, you can keep them on the ground. But the problem is, not a lot of people know how to do that because it's all about weight distribution. It's all about using people's weight against them. And
I would agree with that to a certain point, but
Yeah.
you do see people that are good at the weight distribution that still gets picked up because the other.
No,
person-
yeah, exactly. I remember watching someone put Rampage Jackson in like a rear naked choke, like a head and arm choke where they had their legs on him and they were choking him out, but then he like picked them up and like slammed them. But he's not a human. But he's not a human being. This dude's like regular. He's not an MMA fighter. She's not fighting an MMA guy. So it makes sense. But if
she's not an MMA fighter either.
Well, no, exactly. So it's kind of like who's more skilled? Who's more skilled?
That watches out.
Yeah, because if she was fighting like George St. Pierre, yeah, she's gonna he's gonna pick her up and slam her. But she's fighting whoever that dude's name is, Joe Schmo McGee. Whatever, man.
No, yeah, I'm just saying.
I understand. No, I understand where you're going. I would agree with you if it was like John Jones Like I
No,
get it,
but I'm saying,
yeah,
like, to
yeah.
me, they should have just picked a guy that was like bigger than her, but not that much bigger, right? Like, not.
Yeah,
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 that dude had her by like 100 pounds and over a
Yeah,
foot.
like, come on, bro. Like, he could have just
no,
leaned
but
on
also
her.
no, but the thing is that ties into the part where, he punches her and he busts her up, and she thought, oh, he went full force, but the trainer's like, no, I told him to pull the punch because he would have knocked you out. So you kind of see how it's like they were still going easy on her, like they were kind of going easy on her in training because they know he's bigger, has more weight on you, and they pulled their punches because if he, because they literally said, if I went full force, I would have knocked you out.
Yeah.
They literally
Listen,
kind of,
if she wants him to go full force, then go for it. If he knocks her out, we'll see what they do. But
no, exactly.
that's what she
That's
wants.
what she
She
wanted.
wants that. Yeah,
That's
she
what she
wants that.
wanted. But the trainer was like, I'm not listening to you. Because you have to protect them from
Well, yeah,
themselves.
she's a little.
She's a
She's a
little,
little. Yeah, she's a little. Yeah,
look,
No, yeah.
she's
And now
crazy.
I
a little
do
bit.
like
She's crazy.
in that scene.
Yeah.
The one thing like 100%
We all
positive,
are.
like I said, take away the critique on the thing, like of the people being like triple the size of the other person. Whatever, who
Mhm.
cares? Now the scene as a whole, pointing out and showcasing that, like I was saying earlier, she's like that little firecracker. She's not gonna like lay down for anybody kind of
Yeah,
situation. Them setting that up was actually like a good part of the show, right? Like a good
yeah,
part of character development,
mhm.
right?
It's perfect.
But yeah, so
I like the way they introduced Abby. I didn't know. I didn't guess. I said didn't play
Yeah.
the game. I kind of understand. I understand why Abby's angry.
why do
It's
you
kind of,
think
but
Abby's angry? Why
it's
do you
kind
think
of the
Abby's
same
angry?
thing. It's kind of the
Yeah.
same thing with Joel at the beginning. Joel lost his daughter. This girl lost her father.
Yeah, but why
No,
do
no,
you
she didn't
think
just lose
Abby's
her
having?
father. Joel killed everybody.
Yes, but
She
Joel
was,
killed her father. So
yeah.
that's why she's on the revenge of wanting to be. But it's the same parallels what Joel was, because Joel had his daughter die, and he had this revenge and stuff because of his daughter. And now she's
No,
going
To
to
but
what's
me,
left of
it's kind of
Joel.
no, but it's kind of different because the government killed Joel's daughter because they thought they kind of got a directive like kill anybody that you
Yes,
think
but
is
it's the
infected.
same. It's the same feeling though. Like it's the
Yeah,
same
same
feeling.
feeling. Yeah, I get it, but Joel doesn't have like I hate the
hold on. Are
government.
we
I hate
talking
like
about the same daughters here? Because Brandi, like, are you talking about his
His
original
his
daughter?
original
actual
daughter,
daughter, his
Okay.
actual daughter.
his actual daughter. If
Who
you
got
lose somebody you love, it's gonna anger you. It's like you
yeah,
have an anger inside of you, and you're
but
sad. The sadness, of grief, and anger.
but
This girl wants revenge
I think Abby's has a little it's a little different. It's a
he
little
killed her dad.
yeah. He killed her
All right.
dad. He
Yeah.
Here goes the
killed
thing.
her partners. He killed the organization she was a part of. They're the
Mhm.
last members of that said organization. See the burials they had.
Mhm.
I understand why
But
she's
she
angry.
was at one of them with the thing, and she was focused
Here
because
is
of
the
that.
thing that is great about this show and the video game is this. There's a gray area exploration here. The Fireflies
Mhm.
trying to save humanity,
Mm-hmm.
although they may have did it in a little bit of a crappy way or was setting it up in a crappy way, was still trying to do what's overall good for
Mhm.
humanity. So they're not evil, right? They're not ultimately bad. This like now the other groups of the Fireflies may be, but that particular group who was trying to do the surgery from the end of season 1 are not necessarily bad. They're trying to help humanity as a whole. Joel's got the selfish thing of this is this girl that's came into my life that kind of took my daughter's place,
Mhm.
and I've got this second chance, and it's almost like I'm feeling like I'm a human being again, and I'm not letting anybody take that from me situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Me and my son, we've gotten
He's
in
not
debates
losing
about
his
this
daughter
game.
again. Basically, he didn't want to lose
My
a
son
second daughter.
loves the first game, dislikes the second game. He's came around to it a little more on the second game. He's replayed it a couple of times, and he says like he doesn't dislike it as much as he first did on the second game. But me and him had multiple debates about how the story's done. And the cool thing about this story, Joel's not the ultimate good, but also not ultimately bad. The Fireflies wasn't ultimately just like good angels, but also wasn't very bad.
They're
And
all
it's
the
like I tell
same.
my son all the time, if my son was on that table, right? So I'm Joel, my son's on that same table that Ellie was. I do what Joel did. But the whole time I do it, I know I'm not doing necessarily the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
All these people that I'm killing, to get to my son, I know I'm not in the right,
But you think you are.
but I'm saving my son,
But you
so it
think you
doesn't
are.
matter.
And I think
No,
that's what
it's I'm saving
but
my
no,
son. It doesn't matter at that point. I know technically I'm doing a bad thing, but it's to save my son.
But does he know that he's doing a bad thing?
I think now he does, because I feel like that's why when Catherine O'Hara, she's like, say it out loud. Say, because he knows what he wants to say. Because he thinks, did I mess up? Did I doom humanity by saving this girl? I, could have. It's always, it's the hope that kills
Well,
you. It's
it
the
was
hope. No, it's the
ultimate.
hope that he hoped. He's like, oh, we could have had a better future, hoping. It's the hope that kills you. You
Well,
don't know. What if it didn't work and you killed
Joel.
Ellie and Ellie died and nothing happens?
Now,
You know what I mean?
Joel,
Yeah.
well, in Joel's situation, like you have to take into account that not only did he possibly hurt humanity as a whole, but he also hurt Ellie because in the game and even in the show, she talks about how she doesn't want her being immune to just go to waste.
Mhm.
They have to do something that they need to do to figure out which could help everybody else. She wants,
Mm-hmm.
so he took that decision from her.
Yep.
And
How is killing her gonna help?
because the surgery they needed to do to be able to find out some of the things that they possibly could find out, that's the like gray area, is because you
It could have
don't
worked.
yeah, you don't know 100% if it would have failed or if it would have worked, but that's the only chance that they truly have, to be honest with you, in trying to find some kind of cure for everybody else.
Why not take her blood and test it?
No, but they needed to get the quadriceps out of her brain,
Yes.
because the quadriceps invade the brain and they stay in the brain. So she had quadriceps in her brain, but she didn't become a zombie.
Right. So she's got
Something with her brain and the quadriceps in her blood there prevented her from becoming a full-fledged zombie.
so
So
the
they needed to
quadriceps.
go are in
Yeah,
the brain.
yeah, the quadriceps are basically the fungus.
Yeah, the fungus. Yeah.
She has it in her,
Yeah.
but she just doesn't turn into like the stuff that everybody else does. She doesn't actually actively become like the fungus where her head deforms and everything.
So they need to
Her
cut her
body
head. They
stopped it
needed to cut her head open, Brandy. So they needed to cut her head open to get
to
the
try to
fungus
get
out of
to
her
her.
brain, and that's just basic, which
That would have
means
killed her.
yeah, that would
Kind
have
of
killed
like
her.
rabies and shit.
Yeah. So they couldn't just take her blood. They needed to cut her head wide open and take the quadriceps out of her brain and be like, why did your brain, not fall victim to the quadriceps? What happened? So they needed to examine her brain, not her blood, because
Right.
the quadriceps, the fungus invades the brain.
Right.
Yeah.
It'd go through your blood, but it's not like
Yeah.
a blood disease. It's like
Yeah.
something that
What do
it
you
gets your brain.
What do you think was that shit in the pipes that was moving?
It was like it
No,
was
it's
the
the
quadriceps,
quadriceps. It's the quadriceps.
but they're dried out. They were
Yeah.
like dried out and like basically dead, but now it looks like they're coming. I don't know if it was just because of the heat of the firecracker
I
thing
think
or
it was
whatever,
it was the heat.
Yeah.
but something was bringing it back and whatnot. The thing that slows it down, part of it is because where they're located at, with it being that cold and the ground's really cold most of the time, most of the year, like
Mhm.
so that it can't thrive there. It can't
Yeah.
do what it
Fungus
does.
thrives in heat. Yeah, fungus thrives in heat. So it being really cold saves them from the fungus popping
The
up. everywhere.
danger would be like, so the end of this episode where you see that moment, the danger is going to be because the quadriceps and the fungus kind of comes back to life. It's going to tell all the other, because they live basically in a hive mind situation.
Mhm.
They're sending signals.
It sends signals. So like all these like the monsters and the things that are around that are contacted with the fungus is going to now know that to go to that location. So that's the
Mhm.
danger here.
Yeah.
That's what we're left with. But like I said, I don't think I'm making a prediction. Episode 2 will not be the continuation of episode 1. It will be a flashback. We are going to see either more of Abby's story leading up to this first episode, or maybe even flashback. It might even be double flashbacks where we see part of the episode from Abby's point of view, part of the episode from Ellie's point of view. Like you get like why Ellie and our man Joel, they start to like separate a little more and more, because they didn't automatically become separated like they are now. It was a progression of like 5 years.
Mm-hmm. She may,
And I don't think it's just that she's a 19-year-old girl or whatever they said. I think it's something more.
I think
Oh
in the
no,
back of her,
definitely.
yeah, and I think in the back of her mind, she knows he did something. He fucked up. He did something bad, but she doesn't know what he did yet. You know, but she knows something.
I
He did
think she
something.
knows, but like
She doesn't know. You know, she
I have to be
knows.
careful.
Yeah, she doesn't. She knows, but she doesn't know. She knows he did something, but she doesn't know what he did. She doesn't know that he
Like
slaughtered everybody.
I will like technically, I guess you could call it sort of spoil like say an insight, but I'm not going to spoil like a big thing that happens in the game that people may not have played. So I'm not going to be like heavy spoilers, but for instance, like I know uh that through these 5 years something happens and like she finds out, right? That
Yeah,
like he's not being honest.
yeah.
And that's why,
That's clear. That's clear in this episode.
right.
That's
Mhm.
clear in this episode. It's not just like, oh, she's 19. He's trying to pawn it off like, oh, 19-year-old.
Mhm.
But you know, there's more. There's more. There was more.
Like I said, it's going to be very interesting watching it with you guys and then hearing y'all discuss it and stuff like that because it's one of those situations like where if you were a Game of Thrones book reader and you're watching the show with your friends,
Yeah, yes.
you knew a decent amount of things. They would change things here and there, not very much, but like I said, this episode was very game accurate, and I do think that's going to scare some people because a lot of people, not just some, but a lot of people loved game one. They did not love game two. Now, some of the things that happens in the second game are done because of video game reasons,
Mm-hmm.
like the timing.
Yes.
In this show, they can actually fix that easier because of the way you're telling the story in a show. You can actually put things in a better order that you may have been forced to do like differently in a game. If you watch this first episode, you're going to be like, holy shit, they're just going to follow the game straight through. I don't think they're going to do that exactly. If they do, it's going to be some crazy shit.
Yeah. They got
And
to.
I don't hate.
They're probably gonna change a little bit based on the medium they're doing. You know, they're not. They can't go full on.
To me, I don't hate the story of the second game. I understand why people don't like the second game as much because of timing and when things happens, but I think you easily fix that in a show where you like not undo what happens, but you
Flesh out.
time it differently.
Yeah.
Um, and don't do certain things as soon as it does happen in the game. Because if they do it just like it happens in the game time wise, there's going to be explosions. And I'm interested. So that's why I'm going to say this is going to be a flashback episode we get next. More on this episode though, I do agree with Matt a lot, man. The cinematography, all the stuff that was done. It's like I told him. Here's the difference between like Daredevil Reborn, which we're covering right now as well. We got the last episode coming up this week on that one. Is like some of the scenes that aren't very like say active or whatever is just really boring because you really don't care about the characters. In this one, man, they give you a little context and like say like him sitting in front of the therapist could be sort of a boring scene, but it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
They both the actors worked well together in the scene. It was a real like put together scene. You can see the emotion from both, right? And it wasn't just a boring sit down, tell me your problems. Like she goes off on his ass, like you killed my husband, you piece of shit. You know what I'm saying? I hate you, but I don't hate you at the same time. It's one of those
Because I know
weird
you had to do
situations.
it, but I hate
Yeah,
you.
but yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. Like so, that's a very interesting like little arc there. That's a pretty cool little scene that's put together. Like I said, with emotion from Joel, like wanting to say, because she was super honest with him.
Mhm.
Yep.
So it makes him almost like feel shitty. Like it would make me feel shitty that I couldn't be honest with her, like right
Yeah.
back, like he's not. And
Because therapy only works. Therapy only works if you're honest, like completely honest. It doesn't
yeah,
work. It won't work because and he knows he has this giant secret that's weighing him down. He's the only one. Well, outside the 5 people that we saw with Abby, he's the only one that truly knows what happened in Salt Lake City, where he basically just killed everybody. You know, he probably didn't tell Tommy what he did. He probably didn't tell his sister-in-law what he did, unless he did. I don't know. I didn't play the game. I would not have told my brother I basically destroyed chance of humanity's salvation. I would keep that to myself. I would keep that to myself. So he's walking into this therapy session already a fraud, and it's already a front, and it's not gonna work because he can't really tell the truth. He has to sit there and lie and say, "Oh yeah, I'm kind of sad." Why are you sad? Oh, because she doesn't talk to me, and
I'll push back on that a little bit. Is like he could tell the truth without telling the whole truth. And when I say that is like he could say, "I lied to Ellie. I was like, not upfront about some things." Right? He can say general terms like that.
yeah, he can, but
He can't tell the actual story, right? Like he doesn't want to tell the whole.
Therapists, they're gonna ask more poignant, like, what did you lie about? Why did you lie about this? What is it? And that's the stuff he can't answer. That's the stuff he can't answer.
I also like the scene where we had the like council or whatever you want to call them because they're trying to
they're the council,
like a form of government or whatever, and they're talking to them about what they saw. Also, I love the scene. That was another good scene, where you had and I'm shoot man, I ain't been around the game for a little bit, and the season that happened like 2 years ago, the first season, but right off the top of my brain, I'm forgetting what because they got a name for the monsters here, but like that scene where
the smart one,
Ellie and Dean goes into there. Was it Dina? Yeah, they go in there and like that whole scene, I thought was done really well. Matt even said something about the scene where they were kind of joking when they had the knives, where they were doing the stabbing motions and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, I get why you would be like, why are the characters so stupid to do something like that? They're goofing around with something so serious. And I'm like, well, I don't think that's a critique. That's more of a critique you can have with them characters other than the actual show itself, because the show's setting up, they're not taking it very seriously. Like that's the whole point. And they almost get themselves in like especially Ellie, almost, you could say if she would have been anyone else without her immunity, they're dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're not here with us anymore. So like, but I actually thought that was like pretty creative the way they did that, the danger they get put in, all that good stuff. So like, enjoyed all that. Me personally, I think the episode was I don't know if it's a home run. I don't know if I want to go that far, but this is definitely a hit off the wall triple. I thought it was at least that. You know what I'm saying?
Now we see that the clickers are evolving. They're now
that's the name I was looking for. The clickers, yes.
They're evolving, and now they're doing the stalking, because before they would run straight at, and then now you see that it's 5 years later. Not only are other people evolving, but the clickers are evolving into a different kind of breed.
Yeah, it's like that particular one that we call it the crawler or whatever. I guess that's what it does most of the time. You even brought in the Grudge, Brandi. You said something about that because like
he comes the Grudge because the way it's coming out, like
yeah, the way the actor was portraying the actual like thing, but like it's like a weird like almost where they're not immune like Ellie, but whoever that person was that got contacted was almost like their body fought it off to a certain point to where they almost kept some humanity, but yet still turned into the overall thing.
Okay.
So like it's almost like a mixture of them. Like their body almost stopped it where it didn't take control completely, but it still took control, still got it.
Like it was stopping it at 75%, but then it got it at 100%.
Yeah.
It finally got it.
Yeah.
So now they're doing the stalking too, because now they're quiet, and they usually, like I said, run straight at them, but this one didn't run straight at her, and it hid.
Yeah, and clickers, they call them clickers because they click.
Yeah. Like, Brandi was like, why would she do that? Why wouldn't she just shoot them? But the thing you got to think about is if you bump into a new one like this, they almost have human features. You don't know 100% unless it rushes you. Like, is this thing an actual like monster or not? Right? Like, is it like some kind of weird thing to where they still have some conscience or whatever? So you really can't just go off blazing.
But
so
she knew something because it was the way it was crawling.
It was trying to bite.
Yeah, but like still like you have the notion of any other ones would have just rushed at her trying to kill her. This one didn't, so it was like, well, what am I supposed to do?
And now that threw Ellie off, and like, oh, we specifically trained for this specific one, and now this one just totally threw it off, and now they know that there's different ones.
I like the fact too that she actually got bit.
Yeah.
Like,
I thought it was gonna be a worse bite though, to be honest. When they showed it, I was like kind of like, oh, that's it.
Yeah, that's it. It's kind of like a 2-year-old when they bite you, and like You left the little
Yeah.
teeth marks.
And then she had to she had to cut it out.
That
of
was
her
worse to me than the biting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
Yeah, she
was.
had to cut it out of her body.
That
And
was
she
the
didn't
worst.
and she didn't use any antiseptic.
No, she
So
had she had the alcohol from
Yeah,
the
she put the stuff. Yeah.
oh yeah, no, okay, she put the alcohol, but like she didn't she did surgery like raw, like no medicine or nothing. She cut it
Oh,
out
I
like
see what you're saying. No
yeah,
pain
yeah,
management.
yeah, like no pain, man. She cut it out like she disinfected the area, but she just stabbed herself. I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, and I was like, oh god.
and she's doing it mad slow too. I'm like, dude, I'd be doing it faster than that.
Yeah, like yo, what is going on right now? Like
That would have been like,
But no, I mean, like I said, there's like maybe like one or two little very small things, but this is what I've been saying over and over with the Daredevil series. The problem with the Daredevil series so far and this new one is that the great stuff isn't super great. So then the other things surrounding it that's not good makes it worse because you're just like thinking about that because there's not something super great or good that you can talk about or that deflects you. In this show, for instance, in this first episode, there might be a couple of things here and there that you could critique or say about the episode that you say didn't like as much as the other. But the rest of the surrounding episode was so good that you don't stay and like harbor your mind and think about like those things that are not the greatest. And that's what it is. Like I wouldn't say this is a perfect episode. Like I said, I think this is a banger off the wall triple, right? Which is really super good. Like that's almost the home run, and it's really just really close to being a home run to me. I didn't have a lot of things to say negatively about the episode. I think all the people they have, Pedro Pascal, even though I'm getting sick of seeing him in almost everything,
I
does
love
a
him so
I'm
much.
yeah,
okay
does a
with it.
really good does a really good job. Does a really good
I
job,
love
and
him.
I think he plays Joel super good. Like I said, I don't. I like to see other people like more of a variety. But with that being said, I think he does the Joel character super good. I don't know if they could have picked anybody that could have did it better than him so far. And I think the Bella Ramsey is doing really good, like in her role as Ellie, as far as getting the character down. Like she doesn't necessarily look exactly like the video game character, but I would rather have a better person doing the acting than like a random person just because they look like a part.
Yeah.
110%.
I'll be
110%.
honest with you, the girl that they picked to play Abby actually looks more like the game character Ellie than the person they have playing
Okay.
Ellie.
Oh, Catherine Newton?
Yeah,
No,
the
no,
girl.
Caitlin Deaver.
Caitlin
My bad.
Deaver.
Caitlin Deaver.
Caitlin Deaver.
Yeah, like she looks like more of the Ellie video game character than actually the actress playing Ellie herself, Bella Ramsey. And
At
so
first,
that's interesting.
At first, I got confused when they put her on. I thought it was Ellie at first, and I was like, "They
Like,
changed her."
yeah, like so Abby in the video games, blonde haired, and also like
She's like buff.
yeah,
She's
she's
like
built
buff.
she's built like a dude. She built like a dude.
Okay, that's not like a dude,
She
Justin.
built like a dude. Let's be honest.
She's buff. She's like she's like a power lifter. She's not a dude.
Sorry, I had to.
But like but yeah, no, she's like super buff, like Ferris is saying, and there's like reasons for that too. That's one thing I did also like about the second game was what like they just didn't have a character that looked like that. There was like a reason behind that. She sees what happens to her dad, and from that point on,
She gets in
she's
the
like
gym, man. She
she's
gets in the gym
hardcore,
and
bro.
she's pumping iron. She's ready
She
to
is,
kill somebody with her bare hands.
she's doing Rambo montages every day, getting ready for her meeting with Joel. Like for real, like seriously. So yeah, I anything else that y'all had like that about the episode?
I like the developing relationship between Dina and Ellie. Like you see it starting. I knew from the beginning when they were and she was helping her with her coat and stuff. I was like, oh, are they flirting? Is this going to be her new girlfriend? She has a crush on her best friend, and sure enough, I was
But
right.
here's the thing:
me not knowing nothing about the game or anything and stuff like that because I've not played it, so that was just Brandy's intuition.
this is what gets me, especially about shows, though, is that shows have more time than movies. And we've all watched movies where there's a relationship or character development that's done in a 2-hour period that's super freaking awesome. The end of the movie you might be bawling your eyes out because you've gotten so attached to the character and something terrible or horrific happens to that character or something like that, right? Movies has been able to do it over time consistently, the good ones, the great ones, with a shorter period of time. And it's so frustrating to me when you watch a show and you have characters involved. There should be almost no character in a show that you haven't been able to build up property and get people to care about. So when I watch a show that doesn't have that, it's just so frustrating to me. This is not one of those. Season one didn't have any of that, and so far season two, all the relationships, all the interactions between people are legit. They all build towards something. They all have at least something interesting about their character that you're paying attention to, all that kind of stuff. Because you're right, this particular actress, first time we see them together with Ellie in this first episode, and I agree with you. There was a built-up relationship, and they didn't need the whole episode to do it. It was bits and pieces here and there throughout the episode of them interacting with each other. But the moments that they had and the time they had together, they connected, and they were able to tell a story in a short period of time. You don't have to have a long period of time. And that's what, like I said, that's what makes it frustrating when you're watching something and you're like, man, I don't give two shits about this character.
But they also did that in the first season. Remember with those two dudes in episode 3?
Hey, that year, because I think that's 2 years
and
ago.
Murray Bartlett, my favorite.
Listen, 2 years ago, that was the best love story told in television and in the movies. Pretty sad. The reason why I say it's sad is that came from one episode of a television, and we had a bunch of movies that year, and none of them came.
That wasn't something from the game, right? That was like all.
No,
that was something from the game, but they expanded on it. Right?
Yeah, they expanded on it.
So the game, you're walking around with the character, and that certain character is telling you like a background about him and his partner and stuff like that, and you learn things like walking around doing other stuff, like trying to find a battery for the truck they end up getting. But in this, and what they did in the first season, which I'm fine with, they don't change the story; they just tell the story.
Yeah.
They don't change anything about the lore. Like he was a guy that had another guy that was with him. That it's almost pretty much straightforward that they were like a gay couple and stuff like that in the game. You just don't get to see the interactions. You don't know what his partner looked like. In season one, though, you got that whole story they told, and the whole point of that whole section was for them to get the truck, and they still got the truck.
Yeah,
it was a bit different, but they still got the truck, and I'm fine with that as long as you keep the main story going.
Yeah, because he left everything to Joel in that letter. I just saw this girl react to that episode. Yeah, that episode was really good.
No, yeah, it's super great. I loved it, and like I said before, it's like I'm not into that kind of relationship that much, but like I was still looked at it and was like, I could recognize great acting. It was a great story they told. Like it is like, and then that means that they really did something great there, right? Because I'm watching something I normally probably wouldn't turn on my television, but I'm like watching it and I'm enraptured, and I'm like, at the end of it, this is the best love story that was told that year. I even said it there in that review.
Yeah, you did.
That it was a beautiful story that they told, and it was going to be and it was like a February or March or something, I think, maybe even April that year, that I was like, that this is still early in the year and it's going to be the best love story that I've seen all year, and it ended up being true. There was nothing else I seen that year that even came close to that.
And I like their connection with Ellie and Dina. So in that scene, they're at the dance and stuff. Yeah, she was drunk a little bit, but she was telling her, like, oh, all the guys are staring at you. She's like, oh no, they're staring at you. He's like, no way. And then they're like, well, they're jealous. They're jealous, basically jealous because I'm in your arms and I pretty much want to be with you. That's why these guys are jealous. And I like that build up in that scene of that. That was, it was pretty scene too. The lights and the way the
and you could have switched it out, right? You could have had like any kind of relationship there, but it was still told good. That's the same thing with that episode 3. Still told good. It doesn't matter about who's in the relationship or what the relationship is. It's still like a relationship, and a story told about a relationship can be beautiful. Love. Yeah, it can be beautiful no matter what the characters are, and they've done that really well. That was really good. Like simple and everything.
Yeah, the simplicity of it is
was
And
wonderful.
You
I'm
can
gonna
have
say
a
this
full
too.
grandeur
I'm
thing.
gonna say this too. I love the fact that the one guy that says something, right? He went to take it too far there at the end, right? Like the last like thing, because like he's like,
Yeah.
but
He's a
I love
bigot.
Yeah.
no. That's that I actually pushing back on that. That was my point I was about to say. They didn't just to me throw in the easy thing of he's a bigot that doesn't like gay relationships, because his first thing is, well, I guess he does say that word though.
Justin, he used
Yeah,
it.
he just calls him a dyke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, whoa, guys, let's just.
I could.
Yes.
It's
Right.
part of the. It was part of
Yes.
that was
Yes.
said.
He
It's
used
what he
the
called her.
slur.
He used
Yeah.
that word.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
and
It was
that's the
just two,
part.
like he talks about it's a
Well,
family event. It's just
when he
like
first,
it's
yeah,
two people kissing. That's it. It was just the kissing.
but here
Yeah.
would be my thing though, is like
They
he
weren't on
comes.
the floor like groping and naked.
Yeah, they
Hold
weren't
on,
like having sex.
hold
No,
on though.
You
If I
know?
got a 5 or 6 year old, I don't care who the
No,
hell.
man. It's
no.
no.
If I got a
That's
5 or 6 year
no.
old
It's bullshit. Because
at some family
I've
event,
been at family events
I'm
where
gonna
I've seen
tell.
people making out and 5-year-olds are right there and no one says a goddamn thing. I've been to those events.
Well, I'm
It
not
was
That
saying they
wasn't
don't.
even. But that wasn't even a full really making out. It was just them kissing and just
like-
starting their relationship. It wasn't. And it wasn't anything inappropriate.
Right.
Just we're going to be kissing at our wedding, and there's going to be kids there.
There are gonna be kids there. Should you
We're not.
kiss Brandy? Should you kiss Brandy in front of Brandy's
Hold on
like
now.
nieces?
We ain't gonna be kissing each other like we are gonna be later that night in the bedroom.
Whoa!
You know what
But
I'm
that's
saying?
exactly
Yeah.
how they were kissing. Stupid. That's what I'm trying.
Yeah,
That's what
they
I'm
weren't
saying.
kissing like they were going to be in the bed. There was like,
No, you're right, because like
guess
because
we're right.
no,
And I'm right.
no, I'm saying you're right, because like I did forget that he like threw the word, like I knew he got like more loud about it or whatever, but I did forget that he actually said that
No,
word.
he said.
So like I guess you would scratch that, because I was gonna say
Yeah.
to me they shouldn't have threw that word in there, because where I was going with it was is it's interesting to have somebody just step up and be like, hey man, there's kids here, right? And then maybe they get mad because you like don't listen to him, or you're acting like he's a piece of shit or something like that, so he kind of says anything. But to go towards just like, oh, this guy's a bigot, is like the easy lazy way to me. It's like, all right, we'll just
Because it
throw
was
this guy.
two females. I would okay, switch it around. Let's see if he does that again to a male and a female.
No, see, that's my point I would be making as like a father. Like, I don't like it when my kid was younger. Now it don't matter. He's just turned 18. But when he was like 5, 6 years old, and I went to say a store and I saw a man and a woman over there. Well, the man with his
I'm
hand,
gonna start
with
doing
a
PDA
man,
with you out in public.
a man with his hand all up in the pants and the asshole.
You saw?
Cool.
Didn't y'all see that in
Kissing and
LA?
everything.
Didn't y'all see that?
Yep.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
saw that in LA, but I'm just saying, like, if I'm seeing some shit like that, bro, I don't care who the fuck you are. I don't care what kind of relationship you're in. My ass was saying something then. My
No, I
kid's there.
agree. No, I
I
agree,
don't want that
Justin.
happening.
But I agree. But that's not the
But they
situation.
weren't doing that.
That's what I'm saying.
No,
That wasn't this situation.
you're right, because like I said, I forgot. As soon in the middle of me saying that, and then Ferris like jumped in, I was like, oh yeah, he did say.
Yeah.
He did
She
say
did
the word.
apologize
Ferris
twice. too,
jumped
though.
in, and
She
I
apologized
said,
twice. She said sorry twice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were like sorry, and then they got more aggressive with her sorry afterwards.
That's when he said that.
Yeah, that's when he said.
But then he also said, "We're in a church." Like that mattered, to him. You know what I mean? It's like, nah, you
Yeah.
care about what you said at first. Don't act like the low.
But here's the point: you could still have that point, and still make that point, like in this situation, right? In like real life, you can make your point and still be like a gracious person about it, right? You can be
but why
that
did
way.
he say? Why didn't he say to the girl that she was drunk and she was dancing all up for everybody? So why didn't he say that beforehand?
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like
Yeah, the problem with her.
if you're like religious, right? This is like a piece of
Listen,
advice for people out there that are religious. If you're religious, you can still get a good point across if you need to, because of your religion or whatever, in a good way. When you act like that guy does, you throw that word around and everything else, you look like a jackass. And then everybody laughs at you because you got pushed to the ground and everything else, looking like an idiot. There's a way to say things. And like that guy obviously didn't do it very well at all.
No, he didn't.
And what was that guy gonna do at midnight when he was kissing? He's like, stop!
Everybody stop kissing.
There's children.
Yes, there's children here. Stop kissing. It's a
No,
family thing.
I agree because like I wouldn't take, for instance, I wouldn't be taking my son to like a fucking like New Year's Eve party.
Yeah.
Like if I do, then I can't be mad about what happens because you know what happens at a New Year's Eve party,
People are
especially with
drinking and you kiss.
people like Ferris there.
I don't drink and I don't kiss. I literally do nothing. I'll just be like, yay, 2025. Woo. All right, I'm going to sleep.
Nah, but like when he
He
first
said,
said
I
what
don't
he
drink and I don't kiss.
when he first said what he said though, like the first thing he said, like
I wouldn't
was like,
mind kissing. Now, I'm not saying I'm open to it. You know, I would be extremely open to it, but most of my New Year's Eves have been by myself.
Oh.
so you saying that if Matt, because y'all don't live like you definitely live closer than
Of the
say I
female
do.
variety, I'm open to kissing women
Wow.
of people of the female variety.
Wow, so you would turn down Matt if he just happened to take a trip up there for
Absolutely,
2 years.
yes,
Okay.
yes, I would.
Sorry,
Sorry,
Matt.
Matt.
You told me to ask him
I-
that.
I think I'm pretty hot. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, you know what, Matt, you probably are pretty hot to people,
Sweaty.
just not to me.
Yeah, well, you're probably hot just because you're in California, and I don't think it ever really gets cold there. So,
Ah,
it's cold right now. It's like 68.
Oh, shut up.
oh, he's freezing. It's time to break out the winter gear.
He's shivering in his boots. Yeah, I think
But yeah,
It's in the 30s here. Shut up.
I think we pretty much covered this episode. Unless anybody will go around the panel here to see if anybody has anything to like add about the episode. We'll just start off with you, Matt. Matt, got anything that maybe we didn't discuss or?
I just hope the photography keeps up because that was my favorite part of the episode. Everything looked great.
You
Wait,
said what was that first part you cut
You
out?
kind of broke up. Yeah, you broke up for a second.
I said I hope the cinematography keeps up. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I
that's
hope
going to
the
be definite.
cinematography
They're
keeps
shooting in a
up.
very good location. They're shooting in a great location.
Yeah.
Ferris.
Yeah, I'm glad that everything's practical.
I loved the episode. It was very good. A very good opening episode. It laid down a lot of groundwork, but it was also a very good contained story. It has some good action of them, you know, basically disregarding Kat. I feel sorry for the girl. She was her first lead patrol, and you know she had to be stuck with her. She had to be stuck with those two hooligans with her. But yeah, it was a very good episode. I loved it. You know, let's go 9. I'm gonna go 9.
He's going 9, and then
Going
not
9.
any decimal points.
No, I do whole numbers.
Okay, go ahead, Brandi.
I liked it. It was the first episode. You know, we're easing into things. I give it a 7. It still has much to improve on.
I ain't even doing numbers anymore. I'm giving it an A-. It could have been there's an A+ there. Like I said, I don't think it's a perfect episode.
So he's giving it a 9, an 8.5.
But yeah, I'm not giving it all the way up there at the top. I just don't feel like it was that. I've seen other first episodes of other television series that may have been a little better than that, but this is up there. This is a great first episode. Great first episode of television. Like it was worth the excitement, and like I'm very happy that we're going to be doing the reviews for the rest of The Last of Us coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So Justin gives it a 9. Ferris gives it a 9. What do you give it, Matt?
I give it an 8.5.
I'm at the lower 7. It's still good. I think there's going to be higher up for me to go. I like the build up.
I don't know, girl.
I like the build up.
I'm just going to tell you right now.
I like the build.
Going to be a little fireworks.
Oh man, I think I messed up.
You always mess up. But that being said, man, we are getting out of here. Thank you for joining us for this. You can join the Discord for free, and you also can join the to help support us there and stuff like that. And you can actually come on these shows that we do.
You play the credits.
Yeah, got to remember to play the credits. I'm doing it right now. Right now, Big Matty Matt.